ever feel like you're losing control of your business? I do, a lot of times. And I think it's very normal. I think anybody out there that has a business for any amount of time, you go through this. And when I generally lose it, it usually happens in the spring. There's two times. One's in the spring, one's in the middle of the summer. So early on in the spring, after we've done all our marketing, it seems like when the calls are coming in so fast and you have to do all this estimating, right? At the same time, all hell's breaking loose everywhere else because you have all these things going on. You have a lot of things going on all the time, it seems like, but then these people will call, you'll go out and you get a stack of estimates like this, and you go out there and you try and meet everybody as fast as you can, and when you get home there's another stack waiting for you like that. That's good, because that means business, you've done your marketing correct, and now it's time to go out and just get after the money, right? So that's when I kind of feel like I lose it a lot of times, like I'm losing control of things because I can't get to everyone fast enough, you know what I mean? And that's a big problem for me. So, in the summer, what happens to me, it's kind of the same. I get so much work in, and then you load up on that work, and the estimates tend to keep coming in, and I'm trying to get this work done, and then the phone's ringing off the wall. Your office is calling for everything under the sun. Then your family members are calling you because they need things, and it's just, people are constantly calling you, especially the farther behind you are. You would tell people that you're going to be there in a month, and you'll have their job, scheduled in for that month, and then you might have a lot of rain or something like that, and you get behind, or for whatever reason you get behind, and then they're calling you, and you have to call these people back, and you have to explain to them why you're not there. Those things frustrate me, and it makes me feel like I'm losing control of the business, a lot of the time. So I guess I've found some ways to deal with that, and I'd like to share those ways with you a little bit here. One of the things that I found is get on the estimating immediately. So as soon as those calls come in, you want to be Johnny on the spot. You want to be the first guy there. Of course, you want to answer your phone because that's the most vital thing on earth. No matter what, I don't care if it's a Saturday or a Sunday. Answer the phone, set up a time to go see those people. Try, think ahead. This has helped me out a lot. And initially, when I would get bogged down with all these estimates, I'd be like, oh my God, how am I going to, there'll be a day next week, and I'll let you know when I know a little bit better, or what day that I'm going to be in your area, and I can give you that estimate. That's terrible. And I've had to change that around. And what made it better, easier for me, is I know ahead of time. I'm thinking to myself on the weekends, on Sundays, I like to do this. I like to organize my week and say, okay, on this day I'm going to do estimating, okay? I'm going to try to do them on Mondays, okay, as much as I can. And so I know automatically going in, if the phone calls come in and I'm, behind the glass and I'm going out and doing estimates, as those calls come in, I'm rescheduling. I'm trying to schedule them into that day. I'm trying to fit them into that day. And if I know that I'm going to be landscaping up, say, in a northern part of the state on a given day, I already know that because on Sunday I made my plan for the week. I've looked at the weather forecast, which of course can always change, but I try to make my plan. And then I can let them people know, hey, I'm going to be up that way on Wednesday. I have a job right down the road from you. I could stop and see you then. And that helps too, right? So that's just the biggest thing, is to get into them immediately. Don't let them pile up. Don't let there be a stack of 50 in front of you that you just can't get to. The other thing that I've had to incorporate in my business is I had to train someone else to do the estimating with me, okay? So I brought them with me last year. I groomed them on this. I've showed them all the things I look for. If I can do it over the phone, I'm going to do it over the phone. My office girls are trained to give the prices over the phone, especially for pest control, is almost 100% over the phone. Lawn maintenance, same thing, almost 100% over the phone. Probably closer to 90%, I would say, on that. But again, you plan for this. You do your measuring ahead of time, and you say, hey, if it's a quarter acre or less for lawn maintenance, this is going to be my price. And remember, you can always get there and change your price if you have to, if it's something very drastic. Or when you get there in front of the customer, you could say, hey, I didn't realize there was there's a lot of things to trim around here and edge around. It's going to take me a little bit longer. Would it be a big deal if I raised it up a couple of bucks? And they generally understand that. If you explain to them why it's a little bit more, most people understand it. So you have that option. Of course, you would love to say, oh, you want to drive out and look at every one of them, because you never want to change your price, right? You don't really want to do that, but sometimes you have to. It's not worth it for me to drive out to a lawn care job and go look at it if it's only a $25 or $35 job a week, when I've got $10,000 landscape jobs that I need to be estimating on. You want to get them all because you're marketing for all this stuff, but by hiring someone else, I brought someone else in just to help me with this. This is a big part of their plan. In the spring, they're going to be with me, because in the spring, you've got all the estimates just flood in, and that pretty much makes your year, right? So I've got him trained to where he's going to be taking half the load off my plate. So I think that's going to be a big help for me. That's going to help me through it. Push through the jobs as fast as you can. Push through those estimates when you're out there estimating. You don't want to be rude to the customer or anything like that, but just remember in the back of your head, hey, I've got 7 properties to get to today, and they're all over the place. I don't want to be wasting time. I don't want to be telling stories and joking around forever. I want the customer to like me, but I also have to keep moving. So have that in the back of your mind so that you can keep moving. You know what I mean? So that you're focused on what you need to be doing. You know what's on your plate for the day. You know you have to get through them. And if you don't want to come rolling in at 10 o'clock at night, you best get your ass moving. So anyway, another thing that we use that helps us is having our office screen the calls. So a lot of times people just have questions about, let's say, pest control. They want to know, well, what all does your treatment, what does it do? What does it cost? What insects will it kill? Is it all organic? Is it a pesticide? Will it harm the birds? Will it harm the bees? Will it harm the butterflies? And so on and so forth. These questions you could train your office people to handle so you don't have to do that, okay? So our girls know in the office that the only calls that come into me are if it's an emergency situation, or let's say, for example, this call just came in. The girls know, let's say that I'm working in Eagle River, okay, for example, and this call just came in and it's from Eagle River. Well, they're going to try and get that to me as soon as possible. So the girls will send me a little text message saying, hey, George, there's an estimate up there. If you want to catch it, here's the number, okay? So while I'm up there, I'm going to do everything I can to get that right away. So what do? I call that person immediately, and I let them know that, hey, as soon as I'm done working here, we're going to shut her down at 6 or 7. I'll swing right over to your house if that's all right with you, and I'll meet with you then. And a lot of times that works out well, all right? But the office does a lot of screening, okay? They can take a lot of work off your plate if you teach them how to do that, if you have that type of help. If you're a solo guy, you really don't have that person there to help you out with those things. Hopefully you do. But just if it's not an emergency, the calls need to wait because of the disruptions. It's very disruptive to you in the field. I know when I'm in the field, it pisses me off when I have to get my phone. Even though I know I have to do this, but I have to stop what I'm doing. And if you stop, start all day long, it just drives me crazy because you don't get anything done. There's times where I've just taken my phone and just threw it in the truck and just walked away because of that. Here again, you feel like you're losing control of everything because, my God, it just keeps coming. It never ends. But that just means you did a really good job of marketing. But some of these things are not emergencies, and they can wait. And that's where your office comes in, and they'll help screen that stuff away from you. Okay? I come home every night to a stack of people that I have to call and things I have to do, okay? And you got to fit that into your schedule. But that's where you start hiring more and more people. The better you get at marketing, the quicker you can put more people on because the more work that you have flowing in through your company, if that makes sense. All right. Make a plan to have as few disruptions as possible. And that kind of goes along with everything that I've been telling you. But there's a lot of things. A lot of phone calls can be stopped. Okay, I don't need to know what my wife thinks if we should stop at the store and get toilet paper on the way home. I don't need to hear that, okay? Find somebody else to do that. I have other things that are way more important to do. I don't mind the occasional. If she knows I'm on the road, she knows I'm on my way home. If she needs me to stop and pick up milk, fine. That's, if she can't do it. But if she can do it, by all means do it, and I clarify that with her because I just do not have time for that crap, So anyway. I say toilet paper and crap. Not in the same sentence, but very close. Strange. All right, let's move on. All right, the other thing is you need to know that everyone else has just as many distractions as you do, okay? I told you how I feel in the field when I'm out there working. They have the same thing in the office. They're trying to get things done, and if the phone's ringing off the wall in there, and it does in the spring and throughout the first part of the summer, all right, but it's absolute chaos. I remember coming in last year, my office girl telling me that on average, she gets 70 calls a day. And I'm like, 70 calls a day? And I'm like, it's no wonder nothing's getting done in the office because of the constant interruptions that they have. So during that peak time, during that first couple of months when you get going in, May and June, I mean, that's, at least for us here in Wisconsin, that's when things really get going. If you're down south, obviously you get started sooner than that. But when that happens, we made arrangements even this year to make sure we had extra help in line so that if the key person, let's say for the pest control, is on the phone with somebody and someone's beeping, the call's coming in, within like the third ring, it automatically goes to another phone where we have it set up. We have another person that's answering the phones as well. And if the same thing happens to her, it goes over to a third person. So this is what we've done to make sure that we don't miss any calls, or to do the best we can. And we're still probably going to miss calls, but at least we have a plan in action. Okay? All right. So, and remember, they're just as stressed out as you are. I can remember not too long ago, probably a year ago, that I'll use this example again, and I've used it with lawn care, but pest control especially, because that business has grown so fast on us that I can remember my office girl and I were just screaming at each other on the phone, and she's frustrated because she's trying to get her job done, and I'm frustrated because half the time I couldn't find the properties because I'm out in Timbuktu where there's no cell phone reception, so the GPS can't find the house, and I just chaos, right? So anyway, I've had to learn that they're under stress too. So everybody just needs to calm down, take a chill pill, just relax, and know we have a little meeting early on before all hell breaks loose. We know what everyone's job is going to be. We've already discussed all the problems that came last year. We know what the problems are. We don't just talk about them, we fix them. We find ways to fix them. And I've had to learn to be more patient out in the field, especially when I call them and I tell them to help me find this place because there was no GPS signal. And we have GPS trackers in our vehicles so the girls can look us up, as that goes off satellites, not off of cell towers, so they can actually see where we're at and they can guide me to the house. Well, that takes time off of their day too. And instead of me just being all frustrated and bitching, I had to learn to just calm down. Let them do their magic, let them get me to the place, everything will be fine, we'll live another day. And then when I look at it that way, I don't get as excited and I'm not raising hell in the field, and they don't appreciate it either when I'm bitching, And so they got to look at it from my point of view and I have to look at it from their point of view. So I think we could all learn from that, right? All right. One thing that was brought up to me, I've heard this saying, and I'll say it several times and throughout my life, I'm sure, is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right, that is so true. Think about that. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So if we didn't discuss all these things and all the problems we had last year and how we're going to fix them and come up with a solution for them this year, we're going to fail. We're going to be back in the same boat we were last year because we didn't change anything. And remember, no changes happen unless changes are made, right? Okay, that being said, make sure you understand everybody's role in the company. And they need to understand their role, and you need to understand their role the same as they need to understand your role, right? So you all know who's in charge of what, okay? When emergencies, shit hits the fan, yeah, it always ends up coming back on your lap, but that's just part of the business. But if everyone has a distinct role and you know what your job is, there's no confusion. All right, now it's just a matter of let's get through it as fast as we can and let's not have the mistakes that were made last year. Let's move forward. You always want to be moving forward with your business, right? You don't want to be sitting there spinning your wheels and not going anywhere. Remember, change just doesn't happen. You have to make changes for that to happen, right? All right, that being said, again, I'll leave it on this note right here. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's 100% true. Make sure you take the time to do it now while you do have a chance to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell up in the corner, and that way you'll get alerted to all the new videos as they come out. Otherwise, YouTube will not let you know. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.